சிசிடிவி எக்ஸ்பர்ட் ப்ரோக்ராம் பார்ட் 2 நாங்கள் ஆல்ரெடி பார்ட் 1 ஒன்று செஞ்சிட்டோம். ஸோ இது பார்ட் 2. கண்டிப்பாக இதுவும் உங்களுக்கு ரொம்பவே ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும் அனைவருக்கும். டெக்னிக்கல் சம்மந்தமாக, அதாவது ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் நீங்கள் ஆஃப்டர் சேல் செய்யும்போது டெக்னிக்கல் சம்மந்தமான பிரச்சனை ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் எல்லாத்துக்கும் உங்களுக்கு ஈஸியாக சொல்யூஷன் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய மாதிரியான ஒரு ட்ரைனிங் செஷன் தான் இன்னைக்கு நடக்க போகுது. ஸோ மெயின்லி ப்ராக்டிக்கல் தான் நாங்கள் இன்னைக்கு ஃபுல்லாக பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ரைட், நாங்கள் இன்னைக்கு ட்ரைனிங் செஷனில் கண்டென்ட் படி பார்த்தீங்களா இருந்தால் நாங்கள் முக்கியமான விஷயங்கள் நாங்கள் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்க போகிறோம். அதாவது ப்ராக்டிக்கல் சம்மந்தமாக ப்ராக்டிக்கலுக்கு ஒரு ஃபால்ட் ஒன்று வந்து, அதாவது கஸ்டமர்ஸ்ட்டு இருந்து ஆஃப்டர் சேல்ஸ் செய்யும்போது உங்களுக்கு வர்ற ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ், மெயினில் வர இஷ்யூஸ் என்னென்னு பார்த்தா அதுக்கு நீங்கள் எப்படி தீர்வு கொடுக்கலான்றதை பற்றி நாங்கள் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்க போகிறோம். மெயின் கண்டென்ட் ஐட்டம்ஸ் பார்க்க போகிறது பாஸ்வேர்ட் ரீசெட் செய்கிறது எப்படி என்விஆர் டிவிஆர் மூலமாக. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் செட்டிங்ஸ் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணுறது, அதாவது என்விஆர் டிவிஆர்ஸில் நீங்கள் செட்டிங்ஸை கன்ஃபிகரேஷன் பண்ண முடிஞ்ச பிறகு தேவைப்படும் நேரங்களில் உங்களுக்கு அதை எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ண வேண்டிய சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும். அதாவது எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ரீஸ்டோர் பண்ண வேண்டிய சிச்சுவேஷன்ஸ் வரலாம். ஸோ அதை எப்படி நாங்கள் செய்கிறது, நீங்கள் செஞ்ச கன்ஃபிகரேஷன்ஸ் எப்படி நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணி வேறையா வச்சுக்கொள்ளலாம். ஸோ இன்னொரு முறை நீங்கள் கன்ஃபிகரேஷன் முதல்ல செய்ய தேவையில்லை, அதை அப்லோட் பண்ணுறது எப்படி. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் அடுத்த முக்கியமான விஷயம் தான் ஃபர்ம்வேர், அதாவது ஃபர்ம்வேர் அப்கிரேட் மற்றும் ஃபர்ம்வேர் நீங்கள் டைம் அப்டேட் பண்ண வந்தால் அப்டேட் பண்ண வேண்டிய சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும். இல்லைன்னா உங்களுக்கு புது புது ஃபீச்சர்ஸ் கிடைக்காம போகும். ஸோ அது மாதிரியான விஷயங்களையும் எப்படி செய்கிறது, எந்த முறையில் செஞ்சால் சரியாக செய்யலாம், அந்த முறைகள் பிழையா செய்யறதுனால தான் எங்களுக்கு நிறைய பிரச்சனைகள் கூடுறது. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரியான பிரச்சனைலேருந்து எல்லாத்துலேயும் இந்த ட்ரைனிங் செஷன் மூலமாக நீங்கள் தெரிஞ்சுக்கொண்டீங்களா இருந்தால் ப்ராக்டிக்கலி நீங்கள் எப்படி செய்ய போறீங்கன்னு முடிஞ்சால் நோட் டவுன் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கொண்டீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு ரொம்பவே இலகுவாக இருக்கும் வர்ற பிரச்சனைகளுக்கு ஃபேஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கும். மற்றும் நீங்களும் எக்விஷன் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் கன்ஃபிகரேஷன்ஸ் மற்றும் செட்டிங்ஸ் மற்றும் உங்களுக்கு ஆஃப்டர் சேல் செய்யும் போது ரொம்பவே இலகுவாக அண்ட் கான்ஃபிடென்ட்டாக இருக்கலான்றது தான் இந்த ட்ரைனிங் நாங்கள் பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஓகே, நாங்கள் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாயிண்டாக நாங்கள் பார்க்க போகிறது இன்னைக்கு ப்ராக்டிக்கல் செஷன் மூலம் பார்க்க போகிறது பாஸ்வேர்ட் ரீசெட். ஸோ இந்த பாஸ்வேர்ட் ரீசெட் நீங்கள் எடுத்துக்கொண்டீங்களா இருந்தால் இது 2 வகைப்படும். அதாவது ஆப்ஷன் 1 ஆப்ஷன் 2 நாங்கள் எனக்கு மென்ஷன் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஆப்ஷன் 1ன்னு சொல்லும்போது அதாவது செல்ஃப் பாஸ்வேர்ட் ரீசெட் நீங்களாவே செஞ்சு கொள்ளலாம். அதாவது கஸ்டமருக்கு நீங்க ஒரு கஸ்டமரா இருந்தால் கஸ்டமருக்கு உரிய பாஸ்வேர்டு அவரே செல்ஃபா ரீசெட் பண்ணிக்கொள்ள முடியும், அவரோட பாஸ்வேர்டு. ஸோ அதை செய்யறதுக்கான வழிகளும் நிறைய வழிகள் இருக்கு. அதுல ஒரு வழி டைரக்ட் GUI மூலமாக செஞ்சு கொள்ளலாம், மற்றும் இமெயில் மூலமாகவும், மற்றும் செக்யூரிட்டி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வழங்கி அதுக்குரிய நீங்க ஆன்சர்ஸை நீங்க சேவ் பண்ணி அதுக்குரிய முறையும் அவங்களுக்கு செல்ஃப் ரீசெட் செஞ்சு கொள்ளலாம். மற்றும் ஹிக் கனெக்ட் ஆப் மூலமாகவும் செல்ஃப் ரீசெட் செய்து கொள்ளக்கூடிய வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஸோ இதெல்லாமே செல்ஃப் கஸ்டமரை செஞ்சு கொள்ளலாம். மற்றும் இதையும் உங்களுக்கு எடியூகேட் பண்ண முடியும், கஸ்டமர்ஸுக்கும் இப்படி செய்து கொள்ளலாம். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா கஸ்டமருக்கு செல்ஃப் ரீசெட் செய்து கொள்ள முடியாத சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும்போது தான் அந்த ஆப்ஷன் 2 வருது. ஆப்ஷன் 2ன்றது வந்து மெயின்லி கஸ்டமர் இல்லை, அதாவது ஓனர் இல்லை, ஒரு இன்ஸ்டாலரோ இல்லாட்டி உங்களுக்கு மாதிரி ஒரு சர்வீஸ் ப்ரொவைட் பண்ற ஒருத்தரோ இருந்தால் அவருக்கு இந்த ஆப்ஷன் 2 செலக்ட் பண்ண வேண்டிய சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி சிச்சுவேஷன் வந்தால் நீங்க எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்ண போறீங்கன்றதையும், XML கோட் அனுப்பி செய்யறது எப்படி, QR கோட் அனுப்பி செய்யறது எப்படின்ற மெத்தட்ஸ் முறைகளையும் முழுமையா ஸ்டார்டிங்ல இருந்து எண்ட் வரைக்கும் நாங்க பார்க்க போறோம் பாஸ்வேர்ட் ரீசெட் செக்ஷன் மூலமா. இதுக்கு ரெடியா இருக்காரு தரிந்து உங்களுக்கு இன்னைக்கு ப்ராக்டிகல் செஷன் செய்யறதுக்கு. தரிந்து அண்ட் யசந்த் 2 பேருமே இருக்காங்க. ஸோ நாங்க பார்ப்போம். தரிந்து அண்ட் யசந்த், I think we can directly move to the practical session now.
As Shabi mentioned, there are 2 options when it comes for the password reset. So we are going to look at the first option, which is the most vital option and easiest and convenient option. Unfortunately, most people tend to choose the second option, which is sending the XML or QR to get the password reset, but that has a hassle of waiting and you have to contact the high question support to get that kind of reset keys. But here in the option 1, you don't have to do such thing because you can do the self reset. So there are 4 methods that we can do for self reset. As you can see, the GUID, the preferred email, security questions, and the HIC connect. So there is a small video which explains all these 4 self reset options, which can really help you to do this password reset by yourself. So let's discuss all 4 options while checking out the video.
This often occurs. And it may cost
maybe you can reduce the audio a little bit so I can. Yes. So the self reset, the most easiest, all 4 methods are very easy. First thing is you can use the send email option. So what you can do is you can use your email address to receive the verification code. So let's see how we can set it up. First thing is when you activate a NVR or DVR, or when you activate the device for the first time, you can also set up. let's say now you already have a activated device, then this is how you activate. For this method, you don't need internet. So you just need the access to the NVR or DVR, that's fine. So in the interface, you can go to the settings, and under the user section, you can modify the admin user. So when you modify here, you have an option to confirm and put your email address. So once you are logged in, you can configure. So there are two ways to configure it. One is when you are activating the device, there's an option to put your email address, or otherwise if you have already activated the device and if you want to put the email address, you can come to user and modify user and put the email address there. So once you have configured that, let's say now you have forgotten your password and you want to reset it. So when you come to the NVR or DVR login screen, you will see this login, and there's an option forgot password. Here you have to select the reset type. So we are talking about verify by reserved email. So you choose that option and click OK. Then there is a QR code. What you have to do is you can use any QR scanner and scan this QR, which will trigger the email to receive the security code. So once you have done that, you can click on next. Now the scan is done by HitConnect app, but no need to do only on HitConnect app. You can do any app. So once you've done that, your email will receive the verification code. And in the password reset, you can enter that verification code and enter your new password and click OK. So that is the first method. So as a summary, very simple. You configure your email address, and when you activate the NVR or DVR, or if you have already activated, you go to the user settings and edit the admin user and define the email there. Then once you have forgotten the password and you want to reset it, in the login screen, you click forget password and then scan the QR code, which will send the email to your email, and that code can be entered to enter a new password. So that is the option 1. So this is we are talking about the option 2. So here, this definitely you have to have internet, because you are going to use the HitConnect app. So you can use verify by HitConnect option here and click OK. So make sure that you have the internet connected to the DVR or NVR, and then from your account, HitConnect app, you can scan the QR code. So you have to make sure this device is added to that HitConnect account. Then when you scan, it will give you the verification code and you can enter and put a new password. So that is the second method. And the third method is by security questions. So this is very straightforward. So you can set up the security questions. One way is when we are activating the NVR or DVR, there's an option to set it up. Otherwise, you can set it up by going into the user and modifying admin user. So this is we are demonstrating using the web interface. You simply go to the user interface and just set up the security questions. User management, modify admin user. There is an option. Now the thing is, every time you change your password, here now the security questions will remain same. There's no difference. But let's say you have forgotten your password, you can choose the option to reset by security questions and enter the answers and complete the password. So that is the third method. For that, you don't need internet. Then the fourth method and the last method is the GUID. So when you configure or activate NVR or DVR, it lets you to export a GUID file. If not, also you can export it from the interface. For this also, you don't need the internet access. So let's see. You have to plug a pen drive to the USB port. And in the configuration, you go to the user management and choose the edit user option. And there's a thing that every time you change the user password, admin password, you should generate a new GUID, because it is bound to the password. So when you have forgotten, you can just plug that pen drive into the device and select that GUID file, GUID reset option, and import that file and do the reset. So these are the 4 methods that comes into play when you want to do the self reset. So these all 4 methods are very simple and easy to set up, and depending on your device, you will have all 4 methods, or sometimes only few methods. but it is always good to make it a practice that you configure at least 1 or 2 self-reset mechanisms into your device when you install a new system. Then without worry, you can self-reset those devices. So that's it for self-reset. And I think now we can look into the second part, which is password reset with Hikvision support. Because now the first option, you have to configure this prior. Like if you want to use self-reset options, you have to, when we activate, after that, you have to configure email security questions, connect GUID. So nowadays, mostly almost like all the systems now added to HikConnect. So if you forget the password, if the device is added to HikConnect, you can use the HikConnect to reset it. So that keeping that in mind, let's look at Taridu. Can you explain us how we can reset device passwords using the option 2?
Yes, Asanta. For this one, we need to SADP tool. I think you all know what is this tool, and we had already do a training and a video in our YouTube regarding this SADP tool usage. So here, Asanta, we have 2 equation devices. This is method 2. So we have 2 options. One is XML, one is QR code. Asanta, you know how to reset with QR code?
Yes, I think reset with QR is very easy, but all the devices are not supported maybe for QR. So what you can do is you can use the SADP tool, batch configuration tool, IVMS device management, any of these, and just load the devices. Only condition, all the devices should be in the same network and the same network segment. Otherwise, the same subnet. So then only you are able to reset the password. So before performing this kind of activity, just make sure that device and the computer that you are running the software is in the same network segment. So then from the SADP, Taridu, I think you can go ahead and show how we can generate the QR.
Yes, correct. So we are selecting device. Now I am select our DVR. So here, after selecting device, you can see here device details, and also in bottom you can see forget password option. So you can click the forget password option, then you can export XML code or show the QR code. First we show the QR code. In here you can see the QR code. So remember to send the good image, you can use the screenshot method and send this QR code to your purchasing location or our national distributor to get the reset code. But as Yasanta said, most of some specific device support for this QR code reset. So another thing is XML method. So we are exporting the code, XML code. So here, after exporting, exported message come here. So and then we need to send this XML code to this support email, support@pramahikvision.com. This is the email for supporting XML reset. So you send this XML code to the email, they will reply with the reset code. So I am trying to get in the reset code now. Then easily we can see the reset code.
So basically, one thing Taridu have to mention here is that this support email is working only on office days and during on weekdays and office hours. So especially if you want it on a night time or Saturday, Sunday, maybe there will be delay. So in that case, you can contact the national distributors technical team to get the reset key. Otherwise, what we always recommend is to have the self-reset mechanism in place, so you don't have to go in trouble of contacting other party to get the reset file. So I think Tarindu has got the reset key.
Yes, I have. So I'm just inserting the reset code now. So I'm insert the reset code, and then I need to input the password, new password. Click confirm. That's it. Now reset password success. This message come. Then it is complete.
And one more thing to mention there. If you can go back to that screen. Yes, here there's opportunity for you to reset the network camera passwords also at the same time. And also, if you want to reset multiple devices, you can also do that by exporting one by one. You have to export, or still the XML file should be exported one by one. But once you have exported, you should zip all files as a one zip file. So don't put all files into a folder and zip that folder. That is not correct. Select all the XML files that you have exported and just right click and click send to zip folder. And that way you can have a one zip file. There's no folder inside. You have not zipped a folder. I'm repeating. Do not put the reset files into a folder and zip that. Just select all the files and zip as a one zip drive, zip file. Then you can send it also to the same email address to receive the bulk reset key. So once you receive it, you can identify it by the serial number. So every device has that bottle name and the serial number. So the reset file also will have that. then you can easily identify and do the reset. Another things to note is, by any chance, if you get reset failed or some kind of failure message, you have to restart the device. So it's always better, before you perform any kind of reset, just restart that particular device. Then you will be having less problem. Also, when you have requested the XML from support email, don't close the SADP or don't restart the device until you complete the password reset process. So those are few of the points that you have to keep in mind to successfully reset the password using XML or QR.
That is great point, Asantha. We are going to next. Another thing, if you're using Windows 11 and if you try to forget password, then try to export, then come error, you try with this version 3.0.4, because some Windows 11 platform may not getting some issues with export that file. So this is stable version. I'm showing now this version, so you can use this version if anything issue happen with the new. Asantha, how about firmware flashing and upgrading?
Yes, sir. I think now the password reset part is very completed, and I believe our audience is very clear about all the reset methods that they can use, especially self reset and the QR and XML reset, and what software they can use to do the XML and QR reset. So with that, I think we have to look at now the firmware update. Before talking about how to do it, first thing we have to address is why we should update the firmware. So basically, Taridu, I think in the most of the cases, when we face some sort of technical issues or compatibility issues, the first thing that you should do is whether check your firmware is the latest, because what we do is always the firmware is improved and new versions are released. So you get the improvement in your functionality, improvements in your performance, as well as fixes into any small errors. So in case of you having any compatibility issue, because when you see, let's say it can be IP camera connected to NVR, or it can be any other compatibility issue that you are rising, the first thing you should do is check whether your firmware is latest, and upgrading your firmware to latest can help to solve that problem. How do we get that firmware? Now you know that your firmware is latest. Before telling how to get the firmware, we should tell them how to check the firmware. I think
yes, that's correct.
Yeah, you can show us how we can check the firmware version.
Yes, so we can use few methods. One thing is same as SADP tool. So you can see here software version. This is the software version. So we can read this version. That means which year this build and which month, like that. So Santa, you can explain how to read this.
First, you have the version 4.25.001, means actually the version number. After that, you have a build, and there's a 6-digit number. So this 6-digit number is the date. As if for selected record is 2020 November 7th. So you can understand this firmware is from 2020 November 7th. So if currently we are in 2020, let's say 2022, and you have a firmware from 2018, which means it's outdated 4 years. Then you know that there might be a latest firmware. So this is how you check your firmware version. So once you have a clear understanding about what's your current version, and you know how to get it, that this is from SADP tool, but we can also check from the web page and the local GUI, right? If you can go to the web page and just show how we can check it.
I'm loading web page.
And maybe the local GUI as well.
Sure.
So in page, you can simply type the IP address of the device and just log in. And when you log in, go to the configuration. Under the system, you have the system settings. In the system settings, you have the basic information tab. In there also, you can see the firmware version. Another way is if you have connected the monitor, if it is an NVR and DVR, from the monitor, from the local GUI, you can also go to the maintenance and still see the firmware version.
Our local GUI, I'm logging it, and go to maintenance and system information device. This is the firmware version for this device.
Now you know 3 ways you can use our software like SADP, IVMS, or batch configuration to find the firmware version. Otherwise, use the web interface or local interface. So when you find the firmware version, take a picture of that and forward that to, because here you can see the model number, everything here. So take a picture of everything here and forward it to the High Cushion National Distributor Technical Team, and they will check and let you know the latest firmware. So now it will be sent as a zip file. And now, Taridu, can we just see how to upgrade the firmware? Maybe we can start with the web page.
I think we need to go to maintenance. Then this is upgrade. This is the location for firmware upgrading. So you can go to configuration, maintenance, and upgrade and maintenance tab, then upgrade location. This is the location. So you can click the browse from
And one more thing, you will get a zip file. So before you import it to this interface, please make sure that you extract that zip file, and inside there is a file called digicap.dav. So you have to select that. That is the
correct.
firmware file.
This is, as I say, this is the firmware file digicap, and need to click upgrade, then okay. If we click okay after successful firmware upgrade, this will reboot again. So now I'm not doing with the web page now, because we do same as in local GUI. In local GUI, you go to maintenance, and here is the upgrade. This is the location firmware upgrading. You need to click this one and click upgrade, and click here.
That is actually, we are seeing something in the pen drive. So make sure
Yes.
that you copy that digicap.dav file into a pen drive and plug it to the USB port of your device before you go to this screen. Then you can see it.
Correct. I think we don't need to upgrade now, because we can show another thing also in this one. So this is easy step, I think, for the firmware upgrade. Santa, anything need to add?
I think should be very clear. In case if you have any problem like in firmware update or password reset, whether it's giving continuous errors, sometimes very least cases might have that. So make sure that those cases you might have to send the error details to the National Distributed Technical Team, where they can help to check you what is the exact issue. Some very least amount of cases you might need to send the device to the local repair center to get it flashed or do the password reset manually. And another thing, Tarindu, one thing you have to make sure that when you are upgrading firmware, always better to have the device connected to a UPS, because
Yes.
if your power goes down halfway through, then your firmware will be crashed and your device will not turn on. So in those cases, if you run into such problem, again you have to send that device to the local repair center, where they can check and confirm whether they can do a hard firmware flash into the device. So just make sure, as a precaution, when you are doing any kind of a firmware upgrade, especially have a UPS in place. So in case of a power failure, the firmware upgrade will not be tampered.
Next part is setting and configuration, export and import thing. I think we can start from web GUI. Okay.
Sure, Tarindu. I think we have to explain why we need this functionality, especially when we go and do a configuration. Let's say we configure VCA rules, we configure some sort of other settings, especially recording schedules, can be VCA rules. And once you have done the complete configuration, you might need to keep a backup of that in case if the device fails and you need to place another device. If you don't have this backup configuration, you have to do everything from beginning. But if you have that configuration, you can import it. And make sure when you are importing it to another device, the device model and the firmware has to be same. Otherwise, it will not work as intended. Also, sometimes, some cases, it is better to have the configuration downloaded before you do a firmware update. So you know if something goes wrong with the update and if the settings are mixed, you can easily restore the settings by importing the configuration.
Same as go to configuration and maintains, and here is the import configuration file or export configuration file. So first we are trying to export the device parameters. You can click the device parameter button. Then here is the prompt for file encryption, because this will contain password, all details. So it will show the encryption. So you can type the password and click OK. Then this file will download into your system. Then we can import that part. From import configuration, you can browse. Here is our downloaded file configuration data, and click open. We can just import and enter the password, then okay. So this is very easy step, but after this importing, the device will reboot soon. So it will take few times. Now all are clear on importing and exporting configuration. This is very easy steps. Yasanta, we need to add anything?
No, Taringa, I think it's very clear, and maybe we can show the local GUI as well.
Same as the, you can go to maintenance and import and export. This is the location for exporting the configuration file. You can export, click export button, this button, and it also requests the password. So we can input the password. I just enter simple A, then okay. So export success. This is our configuration file. And also for the import, you can click the import, select, you can first select the file, then click import, then enter the password and click OK. That's all. After that, it will automatically import the all your exported configuration. This is very easy steps.
As a summary, I think we covered how to reset the password. In there, we talked about self-reset and technical support reset options. In the self-reset, we talked about the GUID, the HIC Connect security questions, and the other option as well. And the self-reset, those things. And in the HIC Vision technical support, we talked about the XML and QR, and also how to do the firmware flash upgrading and settings, export and import. So I believe it will be a good learning curve for all the viewers, and we hope to see you on next training as well.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.